Okay. So like nobody wants to think about this stuff,
Yeah,
especially when you're, off having fun, living the dream abroad.
right.
But you know what? Sometimes planning for the unexpected can actually be kind of nice. Like it can
Mm,
actually give you peace of mind,
yeah,
especially when it comes to something like death.
yeah,
So in this deep dive, we're going to walk you through what happens if
yeah.
a death occurs in a Mexican hospital.
Okay.
And we've got an expert here who's going to help us out today.
That's
So
right.
like,
I think what's overlooked is that the process is actually pretty structured,
okay,
even though it's a difficult situation.
right.
It all starts with, the family being notified, of
Of
course,
course.
and then the medical death
So
certificate.
accuracy is key, right? It's
Exactly.
not just a formality.
So imagine you arrive at the civil registry with, passport in hand,
Right.
ready to navigate this unfamiliar system.
Yeah.
It's Mexico's official record keeper for, births, deaths, marriages, the whole shebang.
Okay.
They need everything to be perfect for the death certificate to hold legal weight.
Right.
So we're talking exact home address of the deceased, education level, their occupation, even if they're retired.
Wow. So easy to overlook these details
Yeah,
when you're grieving. But
exactly.
getting it right the first time can really save you heartaches later.
Oh, absolutely.
Are there any common pitfalls that people should watch out for?
I'd say one thing that trips people up is just the amount of paperwork.
Really?
Having someone who knows the ropes, can make all the difference.
Okay.
I've seen firsthand how someone with years of experience can anticipate the questions,
Mm-hmm.
help gather the right documents, and just hold your hand through the process.
That would be such a relief.
Huge weight off your shoulders.
During a tough time.
Yeah,
So once you have the death certificate sorted,
yeah,
what are the options? I imagine families have some big decisions to make.
absolutely. The two main paths are cremation
Okay.
or sending the body back home.
Okay.
Cremation in Mexico is generally more affordable.
That makes sense.
It costs somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 US dollars.
Okay.
Many expats find comfort in incorporating traditional Mexican funeral customs,
Oh, wow.
which can be a beautiful element to the process.
Yeah.
There are resources that specialize in these practices,
That's really interesting.
making the experience, more personal and culturally relevant.
That's a really good point. Like finding ways to honor the deceased within the local culture.
Yeah.
What about sending the body home?
Well, if the family chooses that route,
Yeah.
it involves coordinating with a mortuary in the deceased's home country,
Right.
which can be more complex and definitely more expensive.
Yeah.
Plus, there's logistical hurdles to consider, embalming, transportation.
Right.
It's a big undertaking.
So understanding these choices beforehand
Yes,
really helps families, make a more informed decision when the time comes.
absolutely.
It's all about preparation, isn't it?
Preparation is key.
And that preparation extends to knowing who to turn to for help.
Right.
So funeral homes in Mexico play a vital role in all of this.
That's right.
They act as a bridge between the hospital, the family,
Yes.
and the civil registry,
Mm-hmm.
handling a lot of the legwork.
Exact.
But
Mhm.
you'll need to provide them with copies of the deceased's passport
Yes,
and a passport from a family member.
that's right.
Makes sense they're acting on the family's behalf, essentially.
Yeah.
What happens once the funeral home has everything they need?
Well, they'll take care of obtaining the official Mexican death certificate from the civil registry.
Okay.
The wait time can vary,
Okay.
Sometimes it's quick, other times you're in for a bit of a wait. Patience is key.
I bet.
One thing I always recommend is requesting multiple official copies of the death certificate, the
Right.
ones with the stamps,
Right.
because you'll need them for all sorts of legal and administrative purposes later on.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
This has been so insightful.
You're welcome.
But I imagine the specifics might differ depending on where you are in Mexico.
You're absolutely right. Each state might have its own little quirks and variations in the process.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why having a local expert you can trust is absolutely invaluable.
Okay.
They can guide you through the nuances specific to your situation and location.
Speaking of local experts, that's where someone like Brett LaMar comes in.
Right.
He's been living in Mexico for over 10 years, helping expats navigate everything from health insurance claims to, well, situations like this as a licensed agent and just a wealth of information.
Having someone like Brett by your side offers much-needed peace of mind during a stressful time.
Yeah, for sure.
He knows the ins and outs of the system and can anticipate potential roadblocks before they even arise.
It's like having a seasoned guide in unfamiliar territory.
Exactly.
You can find Brett at brettlamar.com
Ever.
if you have any questions or just want some personalized guidance.
Great resource.
Yeah.
What's really struck me throughout this conversation is How much easier it is to handle these difficult situations when you have the right information and support.
That's so true.
It's not about dwelling on the negative, but rather empowering yourself with knowledge and resources.
I love that.
Yeah,
And while we've been focusing on Mexico today, this really applies to anyone living or traveling abroad.
right.
Take a moment to gather those essential documents, share them with trusted family members. You just never know when it might come in handy.
Good advice.
It's a simple step
Mm-hmm.
that can make a world of difference down the line.
Absolutely.
All right, that's it for this deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
See you next time.
All right.
Bye.